Hi, this is Admiral Keith. Looks good in red, and this is a Been on Trek guest short. We're going to get some feedback from our good friend Paul Atredies on one of our episodes, Arena, from episode 4. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing well, Keith. Thanks for having me back. I'm glad to be part of this supplemental captain's log.
Admiral's
I got
log.
Admiral's log. Sorry. I got my glass of 12-year-old Romulan ale, and I'm ready to dive right on into this.
Oh, perfect. I mean, hammered feedback is good feedback.
Isn't it always?
So,
if it's good enough for Scotty, it's good enough for me.
So you wanted to talk about Arena, and I hope it's because you loved it. But so talk to me about Arena, the episode itself, and the Men on Trek take on Arena.
So Arena is probably number 2 or number 3 in my favorite treks. It's and now that it's been remastered, it is absolutely one of the most fantastic episodes. I enjoyed that this show did so well at not making the what seemed like protagonist the actual protagonist. Kirk is actually the protagonist in this one. And the Enterprise. I thought that was an absolutely fantastic bit of writing.
Okay.
So, when it opens, we see them on the happy, well-adjusted crew. They get into the problems.
Yeah, they're heading into the planet thinking they're maybe got a little R&R and shore leave coming up, and they find that the starbase has been destroyed and that they're under attack.
Yep. And I actually like that they redid the backgrounds from the original. I like that. I absolutely loved the entire story overall. And that kind of goes into I have to side with Commander Mark on this. I think the Gorn captain did actually come in and was like, "Well, I'm just going to bring another victim in." I think they were all betting.
So you're weighing in on the Gorn drive-by controversy?
Yeah, I'm with the what is he now? A commander now? It's so hard to tell. Everybody's been promoted so quickly.
Well, no, he's a captain, but he's going down to commander pretty soon, I think. But
okay.
At the rate he's going.
Yeah.
But you're siding with him. You think the Gorn have deliberately led victims to the Metrons to be taken out in one-on-one cage matches?
I don't think they do it often, but I think they do it. I certainly think they do it.
Just when they really need it, huh?
Mm-hmm. I think so. I mean, based on how watching the fight scenes, I'm sure you had Commander Calvin on, and I would have been interested in his take on the fight scenes.
Well, there's not a Commander Calvin, but there is a guy that we call Commodore Khan that you might
Khan, yeah.
That you might know.
I might know him, yeah. So I'd be interested on his take on the fight scenes. So I watched that earlier today, and the fight scenes are horrible.
What do you mean? The Gorn's moving at a blazing 3 miles per hour.
Barely that. I watched the big slow right hand hook that he gives Kirk, and watching Kirk duck it and it was like they were moving in slow motion. It was hilarious. I love that you guys are doing this, because now I watch these old episodes and I fall in love with them again. But as a kid, I never noticed that. As an older man now, I find it hilarious. It's like I've turned into my father. And then
That's what I wanted to.
and,
That's what I wanted to ask you. What did you, when you were a kid? How did it grab you? How did it impact you when you were a kid?
so I've been thinking a lot about that since you guys have been doing all these episodes, and I've been really kind of blessed to listen to them all. I see Kirk in this now as more of a tactical leader. I really do see I see his overacting sometimes. I see it's over dramatized, and that's, writing and directing and Hollywood, of course. But they really do a very good job of bringing out that Captain Kirk isn't just the swashbuckling pirate, and I hate to bring it back to the other franchise, the Han Solo character, right? Or even the other movies, right? The new Star Trek movies.
Yeah, when we go back and watch these old episodes, over time, they've said Kirk is just this kind of swaggering, womanizing guy, but when you go back and actually watch the episodes, he's not.
He's absolutely not. It's absolutely fantastic at how much of an actual leader he is, which unfortunately now when I watch the new movies, I look at the younger Kirk and go, well, this isn't the same guy, right? He doesn't have the seasoned expertise of commanding a frontline, a ship of the line.
Yeah, it's definitely Kirk at a different point when they rebooted it. This is a young, unexperienced individual for sure.
Correct, and Kirk is not that, right? Kirk is very experienced. He's young in this, clearly. I mean, but he's been in Starfleet at least 15 years. He's served on a couple different ships as different things, and he's commanding a space battle while in battle on the ground, which, again, I go back to one of the movies, but this was with the original cast, The Wrath of Khan, where Kirk sees Khan, or him and Spock are having the conversation, and they have the conversation about two-dimensional thinking, and Kirk gets that smile on his face like, oh, I have got you now, right?
Yeah.
And this is the thing I really do like about this series, right? They maintain his. They say so much with expression. They say so much without being. You guys say it all the time, without being spoon-fed. I don't see Kirk as much. I don't see Kirk as this womanizing, reckless guy. He's extremely aggressive. I'll take this back to my Navy days. I was on a ballistic missile submarine. These guys are a little bit. The captains of these boats are a little bit more reserved, right? And then you get on these fast attack submarines, and their captains are very aggressive, right? Because of the mission that they're conducting. So I see Kirk as very much an aggressive guy, but not a reckless one, right?
How does that in this episode? How does that come across that he's aggressive without being careless?
So he is going after this guy now. Without going into too much detail about real life, submarine commanders typically have to serve in each officer station. So he served time as an engineer. So my captain served times. All my captains, the guys I served under, served time as an engineer. And this kind of goes back to what you guys say about Scotty, right? He wants to protect his ship. Well, assuming Kirk is the same way, Kirk understands what the ship can do, understands how far he can push it. And that comes off reckless in this episode, but in others, and some other ones actually as well. But he does understand how far you can push that ship, right? Scotty's that mother image for the ship. He's going to baby that ship, right? He doesn't want to fix it. But Kirk is like, well, no, we can push to warp 8. We can push it to warp 8. This ship will take warp 8.
So when they're pursuing the Gorn, and he keeps going faster and faster.
But he knows he can. Right. He knows he can. I mean, it's not portrayed well in this episode. But as a man who would know his ship, it's not that he just stepped into the captain's section, unlike some other, whatever. But he had to have served as a weapons officer. He probably served as a navigator somewhere. He probably served as engineering somewhere. And we see this often with other episodes where members of the crew are just jumping back and forth. And that does bring up an interesting question. I'm going to take it offline, or take it off this one just a second. But maybe the people can comment and like and tell us and maybe get a prize. But
hey, you can't give away our prizes.
I haven't even got one yet. But now with all the times that Uhura has jumped into something, has she ever jumped into the captain's seat? Has she ever been given the con? Has Kirk?
I don't ever recall that happening. I mean, it may
either.
have, and I just don't remember. But
I don't either. And I was thinking about that today, and I was kind of a little bit disappointed. I'm going to go into this a little bit later up for the other episode I'll be commenting on. So I'll just let that sit for this one. But I would have liked to see Uhura jump in as captain. Right, I would have loved to see Uhura as a captain.
Well, in Arena, I don't know that an opportunity for that came up. Spock had the con for the entire episode, and a lot of it actually focused on Sulu's actions initially when the Gorn attack.
Agreed, and I like his reaction to everything too. I like that he was compassionate enough to want to bring back, I'll lower the shields for you and bring you on board.
What did you think of Kirk's call on that in that account? The ship's under attack. Sulu says, "Hey, we can drop shields. We can bring you aboard." And Kirk says, "No." What do you think of that?
I think it's spot on. I wouldn't have allowed my ship either. I believe it was Captain Mark who brought it up. The ship is everything, and again, I think I've commented this before. I equate starships as submarines, right? You're out there in the void. There's no one coming for you. You're effectively on your own, and all you have is your ship and your crew. So when I see this and when I see their reactions and I see how they're acting, it kind of leads me into Bones in this episode. Though Bones is very compassionate, he's still a military doctor. And I get it for the series because he's kind of Kirk's, for lack of a better angel, or a better phrase, angel on his right shoulder. So he's a little bit over emotional on this episode for me.
A little,
even though he's not in it very long.
a little
right?
too reluctant to engage.
I think
a little
so.
too concerned about.
Yeah, I think so. At least until the point. I don't think he should have been that way until the point where they understood that the Gorn were invaded. Like this again. Like this is the only episode that I can think of right off the top of my head where the Enterprise is. Oh no, I guess there's another one that I could think of that I just watched, where who you think are the heroes aren't. They're the protagonists, and they're the good guys, right? It's Kirk and the crew is the actual protagonist of this incident,
Mm-hmm.
right? I was watching the one with the Horda, and frankly, the guys in that are the protagonists, right?
Devil in the dark.
Devil in the dark. Yep, exactly. So I sit and watch this, and I think before they learn that this is the that they were the invaders, they were the attackers. That I think Bones's reactions were just a little too much.
Okay. So overall, as far as Arena, you said you're probably your number 2 Star Trek episode of all time.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as we kind of move into wrapping this spot up, what are your thoughts on the Men on Trek episode? Just what did you really like about it? As when we covered Arena, or maybe not like.
Well, I think again, this is probably one of your best episodes. I was actually laughing. I mean, just really, really hard through a lot of it. Especially the whole we're betting the Gorn are laying odds on their captain. I still chuckle.
Galactic UFC.
Yeah, Galactic UFC. That's actually a pretty good name. But that does bring me up to one thing. One thing I did find a little off on this episode is, and I understand it was a really good plot device, but we're in the 22nd. Well, this is supposed to be the 24th century.
23rd
century. So Kirk is trying to struggle on how to make a gun. I have a problem with that because the tech is so high in Star Trek, and I'm betting guns have been gone for
a long time.
Yeah, centuries probably. I kind of have a problem with him understanding how to make a gun, right? I'm not really so bad on the chemistry part, even though watching him trying to mix chemicals in there was... I'm sorry, that goes back to watching a guy cut it in half with his hand and getting gunpowder recipes correct. It just that surprised me, but and for the time, I'm listening to them. I'm like, wow, they're actually really telling you how to make gunpowder, with the exception of how much. I'm like,
they use the real ingredients, and it would have held up in a grade school chemistry class.
And I'm surprised, because nowadays they would never do anything like that. But overall, I love the episode. I think it was your best episode so far. I hope you guys keep going, making these tremendously great episodes. And I hope you got the chemistry on that episode was absolutely fantastic. I hope you guys continue to make that kind of chemistry. And hopefully when you guys come visit the Starbase here, we'll make an episode here.
That's always a possibility. We can pack a recording gear in the shuttlecraft and head that way. But
yeah, I've got plenty of Romulan ale.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Paul Atredies is inviting us to do Men on Trek, maybe slightly hammered. We'll have to consider that. But thanks for taking this time, Paul. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So for everybody else, this has been a Men on Trek feedback short, and hit like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more episodes.
Supplemental log.